Reports indicate the dissolution of Theresa Caputo's family, known as the Long Island Medium. Theresa Caputo just disclosed that she is no longer married to her new spouse. They are undergoing a divorce. Theresa stated, "He is a human animal. His conduct has been exceedingly poor. I intend to pursue a legal divorce." Following the announcement, Theresa's family returned her home. Nevertheless, even in that context, Theresa's circumstances were suboptimal. Her son stated, "No one treated her with kindness." Theresa is presently seeking a new direction in life and endeavoring to further her own development. 9 months had elapsed since Theresa Caputo, the renowned Long Island medium, remarried. She believed that love had re-entered her life, later in her years, more enlightened, more stable, and more attuned to her soul and self. However, no apparition, aspiration, or indication from the beyond had forewarned her of the impending storm she was about to encounter. Theresa sat silently on her bedroom floor, her characteristic hair unbound and her distinctive smile absent. The house was unsettlingly silent, a tranquility she typically linked to serenity, yet this evening it resonated like a foreboding signal. Her hands quivered as she pressed post on Instagram. "He is not the person he claimed to be. I am initiating divorce proceedings against my husband. He is not merely harsh, he embodies a primal savagery. Intercede on my behalf." The answer was explosive. Admirers inundated her direct messages with affection and apprehension. The media sensationalized the narrative with exaggerated headlines. However, the sole concern of Theresa was the silence emanating from her own family. 2 days later, her son, Larry Jr., arrived. Prohibition of cameras. Refrain from embracing. A mere expression of concern accompanied by a subdued, "Return home, mother." Upon returning to Long Island, Theresa entered the residence she had previously infused with joy, clientele, spiritual communications, and Sunday meatballs. However, on this occasion, she was only Theresa, the individual, the offspring, the maternal figure, and now the heartbroken divorcee. However, home was not the sanctuary she had anticipated. Her mother made indirect remarks during supper. Her brother inquired why she hastily entered into the marriage. Even Larry Jr. appeared aloof, engrossed in his phone, evading her look. One evening, Theresa eavesdropped on his telephone conversation. She consistently introduces drama wherever she goes. Frankly, no one desires to engage with her. Her heart plummeted. The woman who assisted hundreds in achieving closure could not find solace in her own kitchen. The following morning, Theresa assembled her luggage. She refrained from causing a disturbance and did not confront anyone. She merely left a note. "You need not comprehend me. However, I must attain tranquilly." Nonetheless, the Windy City Live stage was charged with anticipation. Following a successful initial appearance, Theresa Caputo, the renowned Long Island medium, returned for part 2 of her audience readings. The set was imbued with emotional energy, laughter, and tears, emotions that Theresa had come to anticipate when the spirit world revealed itself. Upon her entrance into the room, adorned in her characteristic high heels and voluminous hair, the audience offered a rousing round of applause. Theresa smiled, gestured, and faced the camera. "The spirit has been communicating all morning," she stated. "Someone's father has been admonishing me since my arrival." A wave of anxious laughing permeated the crowd. Theresa was instantly captivated by a woman in the second row, Laura, a retired educator. Theresa's tone altered. "Your father died suddenly, correct? A severe heart attack. He mentioned you were unable to bid farewell." Laura inhaled sharply and nodded, placing her hand over her mouth. "He wishes to convey that he heard your words in the hospital room, even posthumously. You expressed, 'Please return, Daddy.' I was unprepared." Laura wept uncontrollably. "Oh my God." "I uttered those precise words," Theresa inquired softly. "He is indicating a damaged watch. Did you retain his wristwatch?" "Indeed. It resides in my drawer. Its operation ceased upon his demise." "That is him, dear." He asserts that time is irrelevant in his realm. Nonetheless, he consistently arrives punctually to oversee you. The audience collectively wept. Theresa halted and pivoted abruptly towards the distant end of the stage. I perceive a youthful vitality reminiscent of a child. He repeatedly exclaims, "Mommy, mommy," while demonstrating building blocks. A mother named Nina in the rear raised her shaking hand. "My son succumbed to leukemia at the age of 4. Theresa approached. He expresses his fondness for your bedtime stories, depicting you seated by the hospital bed, reading Goodnight Moon. Nina broke out in tears, murmuring, "I recited that to him every night." He asserts that you ceased reading following his demise due to the pain it caused. However, he desires for you to resume reading for your own sake, not merely for him. He believes this is the path to your tranquility. Nina acquiesced, weeping. "I shall. I assure you." As the episode approached its conclusion, Theresa remained stationary, blinking rapidly. "This is peculiar. I am hearing the song Unchained Melody. Is anyone else?" No one volunteered. A man with slick-back hair and a leather jacket has just entered. He claims to have been a singer who died in the 1980s. He repeatedly states, "Tell my daughter I forgive her." An elderly woman, Doris, abruptly inhaled sharply. "My father was a lounge singer. We had not communicated for a decade prior to his death. I never had the opportunity to apologize." Theresa delicately caressed her hand. He asserts that the past is inconsequential now. He acknowledges your love for him, despite your anger. He takes pride in you, and he attended every one of your recitals. He states that you danced exquisitely. Doris experienced a total breakdown. "I always believed he was absent." "He was," Theresa stated, her tone resolute yet compassionate. "He remains so." Upon the conclusion of the session, the atmosphere in the room transitioned from sorrow to restoration. Theresa beamed at the weeping audience. The work of the spirit is perpetual. However, today it manifested with vigor and confidence. The audience bestowed upon her a standing ovation. For numerous individuals, healing had commenced. Unspoken words had ultimately been acknowledged. As Theresa exited the stage, she murmured to the atmosphere, "I appreciate your consistent presence." Nonetheless, on a cloudy Thursday afternoon at the set of the Long Island Medium, Theresa Caputo was energetically preparing backstage, her blonde hair meticulously styled. The audience was filled with anticipation, heightened by the impending arrival of a surprise celebrity guest, actress Olivia Munn, who is not arriving alone. "She is accompanying her mother," murmured a crew member. Moreover, it is rumored that the woman is a complete skeptic. Theresa had received similar information. Olivia had privately communicated that her mother, Kimiko, had consistently disregarded spiritual matters. Raised in a conventional Japanese household, she valued rationality and diligence. She held no belief in mediums, apparitions, or omens from the afterlife. However, since the death of Olivia's grandfather 2 years prior, her mother had become increasingly silent and reclusive. Olivia aspired for this session to provide insight or, at the very least, solace. Upon Theresa's emergence onto the modest studio stage, the audience burst into applause. Adorned in her characteristic glamorous attire, Theresa beamed warmly. She sensed an intangible energy permeating the room, drawing her in like a magnet. Her gaze traversed the rows of faces until it landed on Olivia Munn and her mother positioned near the front. Theresa experienced a tingling sensation in her palms. "I am uncertain to whom this message pertains," she continued, "but I perceive a formidable male presence. A reserved individual. Highly conventional. I observe him presenting rice in a ceremonial manner. He is revealing to me a diminutive shrine." Kimiko's countenance remained unchanged, although her demeanor became rigid. He persistently gestures towards a crimson silk fabric and the aroma of incense, Theresa elaborated. He conveys, "Inform her that I perceive her. I acknowledge her continued reverence, even in moments she believes she is unobserved." Kimiko adjusted her position, her hands clenching in her lap. Theresa inclined her head. He mentions a bamboo flute and a garden with koi fish. He claims that is where you communicate with him mentally. Olivia inhaled sharply. Mother, that is Grandpa's garden in Kyoto. The koi pond where you frequently sit. Theresa gazed intently at Kimiko. He asserts that you were with him in his final moments, despite your feelings of guilt for your absence. He states, you honored me through your actions. You cared for the family. For the first time, Kimiko blinked fast, her cheeks starting to quiver. He played the flute every morning, she murmured, her voice unsteady. And I maintained his shrine. However, I did not disclose this to anyone. A silence enveloped the room. Theresa nodded subtly. He claims he heard you weeping last spring when you expressed your remorse. He stated there is nothing to pardon. He departed with the knowledge that he was cherished. The doubtful mother, who had entered the studio appearing dissatisfied, now had tears flowing silently down her cheeks. She grasped Olivia's hand firmly. Theresa smiled. You need not subscribe to my beliefs. However, your father, he had faith in you. The audience resounded with gentle applause as Kimiko rose, bending her head profoundly in appreciation, not alone to Theresa, but possibly also to the guy who had reached out to her from beyond the curtain. Upon exiting the studio that day, Olivia remarked to Theresa, I believe you provided my mother with something unparalleled. Theresa smiled, her eyes radiant. At times, it transcends belief. It pertains to healing. In that instant, even the skeptic began to harbor a modicum of belief. Nonetheless, on a brisk October morning in Los Angeles, Ryan Seacrest's team exhibited an unusual fervor. A distinguished guest, Theresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, was scheduled to appear live on air. However, this would not be an ordinary radio interview. Theresa was poised to conduct a spirit reading over the phone, broadcast live for millions to witness, a first for on-air with Ryan Seacrest. As the program commenced, Ryan welcomed his audience with his characteristic charisma. Ladies and gentlemen, secure your headphones, for today we have the incomparable Theresa Caputo joining us live from Long Island. She is poised to connect, not only with us, but also with the other side. Theresa's voice resonated through the line, warm and unwavering. Hello, Ryan. I can sense the energy instantly. Even by telephone, spirit transcends time and place. Ryan laughed awkwardly. So, what precisely are you acquiring? I require a conversation with an individual in your studio, Theresa stated assertively. A paternal figure is manifesting with considerable intensity. His name commences with a J. He is presenting a radio. He indicates that he listened every morning. Ryan, he is associated with someone named Maria. Silence enveloped the studio. Maria, a producer behind the glass, turned ashen. She said, My father, Jose, passed away last year. He cherished listening to Ryan daily. Theresa's tone became gentler. He expresses pride in you. He repeatedly states, Inform my girl that I am with her when she operates that blue car. Assure her she is not alone. Maria inhaled sharply. Only she was aware of her recent acquisition of a blue Honda. She wept, overcome by the extraordinary link. Ryan approached the microphone, astonished. All right, everyone, this is extraordinary. We did not inform Theresa of anything in advance. However, the spirits were not finished. Theresa interjected. I have another individual. This pertains to a caller, a young woman. She has lost a sister. She is burdened by guilt, yet her sister conveys that she must release it. A producer promptly reviewed the lines and connected a caller called Alina. Hello, a tremulous voice responded. That resembles me, Theresa stated. Your sister is presenting sunflowers. She asserts that she does not hold you responsible. She expresses, It was my time, not your fault. Alina collapsed emotionally. We had an argument the day she passed away. She drove out in the rain. I believed it was due to me. No, Theresa said. She expressed that she loved you above all else. The sunflowers originated from the field where you played as children, correct? Affirmative, Alina murmured, weeping. We frequented that location each summer. A profound hush enveloped the studio. Even Ryan, renowned for his sharp humor, was rendered mute. The atmosphere had transformed. The remainder of the segment unfolded in serene reverence. Theresa persisted in conveying messages from the beyond, resonating with hearts nationwide, each connection increasingly profound. By the conclusion of the show, the station was inundated with thousands of texts and emails from listeners who experienced a shiver, an attraction, a recollection, pondering whether, perhaps, their departed loved ones had been attuned as well. Following the performance, Ryan deactivated his microphone and gazed at his crew. "I am uncertain about what transpired, but that was authentic. That was extraordinary." Theresa grinned over the phone. "That's the spirit. They are perpetually with us, even through the wire." Nevertheless, on a brisk autumn morning in Long Island, Rosie O'Donnell arrived at the inviting coastal studio of Theresa Caputo, the renowned Long Island medium. Historically skeptical of psychic phenomena, Rosie felt a shift within her following the recent death of her mother. She sought closure, believing that Theresa could provide the solace she desired. The apartment exuded warmth and hospitality. Candles danced against walls embellished with family photographs and celestial patterns. Theresa, characterized by her distinctive high heels and platinum blonde hair, embraced Rosie with a hug. "I sense that you've been burdened recently," Theresa remarked, prior to Rosie taking a seat. Her tone was gentle yet assured. "You appear to be contemplating something, pondering whether an individual from the other side remains connected to you." Rosie's eyes expanded in surprise. She had not uttered a single thing regarding her mother thus far. "That is accurate," Rosie remarked with hesitation. "I lost my mother last year. It has been challenging." Theresa shut her eyes and positioned her manicured hands on her lap. The room became still. Then, almost suddenly, Theresa twitched slightly. "Your mother has arrived," Theresa murmured. "She has much to convey." Rosie's breath became constricted in her throat. "She is presenting me with roses. Were roses meaningful to her?" Theresa inquired. Rosie nodded slowly. She possessed a rose garden and spent hours tending to it. "I have a photograph of her holding a white rose, which was her favorite." Theresa smiled softly. "She expresses pride in your decision to plant one in your backyard last spring." Rosie's jaw fell. She had not disclosed to anyone the small rose bush she had planted only for her mother, an act performed discreetly and confidentially. "She is also referencing a drawer filled with letters," Theresa added. She states, "Inform Rosie that I have read them all, particularly the one with the tear stain." Rosie inhaled sharply. "I composed letters to her posthumously. I store them in the drawer of my nightstand. One of them, indeed, I wept while penning it." Tears brimmed in Rosie's eyes, and for the first time, the often resolute comedian remained quiet, utterly overwhelmed. "There is one additional matter," Theresa stated. "Your mother desires for you to absolve yourself. She asserts that you were always sufficient. You did not disappoint her. Not even once." The comments fractured an aspect within Rosie, an aspect she had not recognized she had been clinging to for months. Theresa extended her hand and grasped Rosie's. "She has accompanied you at every juncture, amidst the sorrow, amidst the quietude, and amidst the joy." Rosie laughed between her tears. "She always appreciated my humor, even the dreadful ones." "She continues to do so," Theresa grinned. The reading went for almost an hour. Ultimately, Rosie experienced a sense of relief, as though an unseen weight had been removed from her shoulders. Upon stepping outdoors into the invigorating Long Island wind, she halted to inhale deeply. The sky appeared more transparent, and the environment felt inexplicably warmer. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Mina, and I hope your day is going splendidly. If you enjoy the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.